Listen closely, because the country is still trying to process what happened inside that courtroom.
Quote, just getting our hands around the discovery. The judge knows he's dealing with courtroom clowns. The judge knows that every federal prosecutor in the Eastern District of Virginia has refused to participate in this case. The judge knows all of the public information in this case. The judge knows that he's watching a legal Trump clown show in his courtroom. And although he dealt with it politely today,
what unfolded in that room was not just another Trump outburst, not another dramatic headline designed to stir up chatter for a few hours. It was a moment that will go down in history as one of the most shocking displays of a president losing control in a legal setting. A moment so raw, so chaotic, and so revealing that legal analysts, former federal prosecutors, and even some long-time Trump allies are scrambling to explain what it means for the future of this presidency. So let us go back inside that courtroom. The atmosphere was tense from the moment Trump walked in. You could see it in his posture, hear it in the irritated whispers to his lawyers, sense it in the way Secret Service agents were positioned a little closer than usual. Trump had been stewing for days. The civil fraud case was already beating him down, with prosecutors laying out mountains of evidence showing inflated property values, misleading financial statements, off-the-record conversations, and repeated patterns of behavior that financial experts say were impossible to ignore. For Trump, this case is not small. It strikes directly at the core of how he built his wealth, his image, and his identity. So he walked into that courtroom not just as a president, but as a man whose entire empire is being dissected publicly. Witnesses say he came in already tense, his jaw clenched, his hands restless. He glared at the judge even before the session began. And throughout the morning, he became increasingly agitated. Small things set him off. A piece of testimony, a document shown on the screen, a comment from a witness. Every little thing was getting under his skin. And it did not help that the judge overseeing the case has shown absolutely no patience for Trump's antics. This judge has already fined him, warned him, and scolded him multiple times for violating court rules. She is known for being strict, direct, and unwilling to allow courtroom theatrics. That on its own is enough to irritate Trump. But when you combine his personality with the legal stakes, you get the perfect storm that led to one of the most explosive outbursts ever witnessed from a sitting president inside a courtroom. It happened fast. One moment Trump was sitting down, whispering angrily to his lawyers. The next moment he was on his feet shouting. Everyone in the room froze. Lawyers turned around. Reporters grabbed their pens. Secret Service agents tensed. Court officers began moving toward Trump before the judge even issued a command. And what came out of Trump's mouth stunned everyone. He started yelling at the judge, calling her biased, accusing her of rigging the case, attacking the entire justice system. He said he was being persecuted. He said the case was corrupt. He said everyone in the room knew it. And then he said the words that shook the entire courtroom. He said he was above the law, above the law. In a courtroom filled with witnesses, with reporters present, with cameras rolling, he looked directly at the judge and said it like it was a fact everyone should already understand. Those words hit the room like an explosion. Legal scholars say they have never heard a president, sitting or former, declare something like that during legal proceedings. The judge's eyes widened. Trump's lawyers looked horrified. Even members of the Secret Service exchanged glances. At that moment, the judge had a decision to make. And she made it quickly. She signaled to security officers to remove Trump, not escort him politely. Remove him. That distinction matters. Court officers moved in fast, and witnesses say Trump did not calm down. He kept yelling as they reached him. Some say he tried to pull away. Others say he stepped back instinctively as they grabbed his arm. Either way, security had to guide him firmly toward the door, and it took more than one officer to get him out of the room. The scene was chaotic. Reporters wrote frantically. Lawyers stood still in disbelief. The judge remained on the bench with a look of controlled frustration, waiting for order to be restored. Once the door closed behind Trump, the room took a collective breath, because no one had ever seen anything like that before. A sitting president physically removed from a courtroom after screaming at a federal judge. This is not politics as usual. This is not courtroom strategy. This is not some scheme to rally political supporters. This is someone cracking under pressure in front of the country. And this is where the analysis begins, because this moment is bigger than one man and his temper. This is about the presidency. This is about the justice system. This is about accountability. This is about whether power in this country still has limits. Trump did not just make a scene. He did not just have a bad moment. He told the judge, out loud, that he believes he is above the law. And that is not just an outburst. That is a statement of ideology, a worldview, a belief that threatens the foundation of American democracy. Trump has been showing signs of unraveling for months. His posts online have become increasingly erratic. His speeches wander between anger, confusion, and self-pity. He lashes out at enemies both real and imaginary. He attacks prosecutors, judges, witnesses, and journalists, all while juggling more legal troubles than any president in American history. Add in the stress of potential financial ruin, the humiliation of public testimony, and the loss of control over his own narrative, and you get a man spiraling under pressure. Mental health professionals watching his behavior are sounding the alarm, even if they cannot diagnose him from afar. Former staffers say he has become more volatile behind closed doors. Advisors say he refuses to listen to counsel. Lawyers say he sabotages his own defense strategy repeatedly. Even some Republicans are whispering concerns privately, worried that the president is no longer capable of handling the pressure of his office or the weight of his legal responsibilities. And then there is the political fallout. Because this meltdown is not happening in isolation. Republican leaders have been trying desperately to distance themselves from Trump's legal battles, focusing on policy issues they hope will help them in upcoming elections. But every time they try to pivot, Trump pulls them back into chaos. His legal drama dominates the news cycle. His courtroom behavior becomes the headline. His instability overshadows everything else happening in Washington. And Republicans know it is hurting them. They may not say it publicly, but behind closed doors, they are furious. They have watched swing voters drift away from the party. They have seen moderate conservatives express concern. They know that while Trump's hardcore base is loyal, the rest of the country is exhausted by the constant turmoil. But the biggest consequences of this meltdown are legal. Judges do not forget incidents like this. They remember which defendants respected the court and which ones screamed at them and had to be removed by force. Prosecutors will use this meltdown in their arguments. They will say Trump showed contempt for the law. They will point to this moment as evidence of his mindset. If Trump is convicted in any case, this meltdown will absolutely be used during sentencing. It will shape how judges perceive him in every future hearing. It will affect how courts handle his behavior going forward. And yes, there may still be formal consequences. The judge could impose fines. She could issue a contempt citation. She could restrict his ability to speak during future hearings. She might even escalate penalties if he disrupts proceedings again. And based on his record, he probably will. Because Trump does not change. He does not adapt. He does not learn lessons. He only doubles down on whatever behavior is hurting him the most. That is his pattern. That is who he is. The Secret Service angle is also worth noting. Those agents are sworn to protect the president, even when he is being removed from a courtroom after screaming at a judge. They had to stand there, watching court security lay hands on the man they are protecting. That is an unprecedented moment. It raises questions about protocols, authority, and what happens when the protectee becomes the source of disruption. It is awkward. It is complicated. And it is a logistical nightmare that no president has ever created before. Now, let us zoom out to the biggest picture of all. America is built on a principle that no one is above the law. Presidents face consequences. Judges hold power. The legal system does not bow to political figures, no matter how loud they are. Trump tested that principle in the most direct way imaginable. He challenged the authority of the judge. He challenged the legitimacy of the court. He challenged the entire justice system by declaring he was above the law. And the system pushed back.